Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with Annie and Dave Barnes.
Johnny, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Sorry, John, I'm going to talk to the listeners real quick.
Do you mind if I listen?
No, I guess that technically makes you another listener, so let's join in.
Yeah.
Hey there, Dadville fans. Are you ready to turn your dad space into the ultimate dad haven?
Yes. Sorry, I just want to interact.
Look no further than Home Threads, where style meets dad-approved comfort.
That's right, Dave.
Yep.
Let me add to that. At homethreads.com, explore furniture designed for the modern dad. That's you, and that's me.
It's the mad, as we call it.
The mad.
Yeah.
From recliners that embrace you like a bear hug to sturdy, kid-friendly tables for those epic dad projects. Yep. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. We've got the pieces to make your dad plans a smashing success.
John.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about my new Armin Living Cusco Rustic Acacia TV stand. John!
That sounds so exotic.
I know. I got it from I'm exotic. I got it from homethreads.com. It's sleek and stylish, the two S's that matter to me, with a really cool mid-century modern look. I love it.
Dave, I love it too.
Okay.
We're only going to watch football games at your house now.
Well, that was part of
That's
the
already
for
what we've already done.
And that's only the beginning, John. Home Threads has every piece of furniture you could possibly imagine.
You are so right, Dave, about just this, but not anything else. They have bedding, side tables, rugs, lighting, kitchen, and dining, and so much more. It's seriously amazing.
I know. And homethreads.com always has great deals with discounts on pricing and shipping.
Dave,
okay,
listen to me.
Okay.
Go to homethreads.com/Dadville. Don't you dare leave off that Dadville today and get a code for 15% off your order.
You got it, Johnny. Homethreads.com/Dadville to get a code for 15% off your order.
That's right, because being a dad, it's an adventure, and your home should be the perfect base camp. Home Threads, love where you live. I don't know if the listener can feel the exhilaration in my voice right now. The little bit of nerves, the thrill,
the chase,
the finish, because I feel like I've been chasing, now I've finished. And what I'm referring to right now, listener, is I'm sitting in the chair. I'm swiveling right now, swiveling with ease. I feel like Dave Barnes, because this is the chair that Dave sits in every single interview.
Do you feel powered imbued into your body?
I feel powered by the fact that I know you feel powerless.
Do you feel a small surge of Sour Patch Kids running through your veins?
I do, and I love it, and I don't even like Sour Patch Kids.
It did throw me off for like half a second when I walked in. I was like, oh, John.
Right? I never sit in this chair.
I bequeathed the power chair.
I literally am like a foot taller than you right now.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah, I'm sunk. I didn't realize that would be maybe weird for people. Is it weird for you, me sitting in that chair?
Yeah. I get complaints from guests constantly. Have we not talked about
I don't know if
Dave,
anything.
that's like a very psychological
It is.
move
It works for me. What if you just had like a side chat? Like I got on your phone, like, hey, would you see something on your phone? I pick it up, and there's just nothing but you and every guest that's ever been on the show.
It's just Tony Hale just saying, again, I'm still not over it. And ours was over Zoom.
I've had so much success, and yet Dave has psychologically gotten into, I can't shake the feeling.
Last thing about this chair, I think I've said this maybe before on the podcast. I can't remember, but Dave does this thing where he sits. Let me see if I can do it.
Yeah, at the very edge.
He sits at the very edge, and you put your feet up like this. And actually, it's good for me to be sitting in this chair right now because it actually feels secure.
Yeah.
But when I'm always sitting where Annie is sitting right.
Oh, do you worry about me?
Every time.
No way. I didn't know that.
I'm like in the middle of the interview. It's happened 100 times now. I always notice it, and I'm like, he looks like he's going to slip right off that chair.
He's about to go. Oh, I love that. I didn't know that. That makes me laugh.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Dadville. Dadville couples not only is this a Dadville couples episode, but this is the height of the crescendo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Of the month,
bringing it to a big end
of Dadville episodes or couples episodes. Now we may do more as we go.
Don't pin us in.
Don't end it.
What we have.
Have you listened to any of them, babe?
Mm-hmm.
You have, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what'd you listen to?
I listened to Andrew and
Sean
Johnson. I listened
that was
to
a great one.
You listened to more than one?
Some of Drew and Ellie.
Oh, yeah. Look at you. That makes me feel good.
Was that your first Dadville episode you ever listened to?
I would. I'm not going to put
John.
you on the spot. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I would actually really love to know how many. Does Amy listen to it?
She does.
Oh, God. See, babe?
She listens a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really. Annie's not a podcast girl. That's what I tell myself.
That's what you
Look,
say.
she's dead quiet right now.
Yeah.
I really liked Kurt Thompson.
Yeah, his.
Oh, my gosh.
And I feel like I was
love
at
that
a good
guy.
clip early on. Like,
Yeah.
I listened to Al. I listened to, Steven. I mean, a lot of the people early on. And then I kind of just
And you're like, I get it.
All you would have to say to me.
You just do so many podcasts.
Well, all you would have to say to me is, Dave, I hear enough of you. And that's why would you
Totally
do that?
understand.
Like, as a spouse, you're just, you already get so much.
We should have Jason edit one where Dave, you're cut out
We
for
call it the
Annie,
Amy,
Yeah.
the
and then
Annie
I'm cut
version.
out for Amy.
Oh, it's like the Taylor versions. It's just the Amy and Annie version. That's
All right.
funny.
Guys, we got to get going here because we got a lot to get to. And what we're going to start with is the meet cute.
Aw.
From the beginning, I want every detail. Let's hear it. The
Take it
year
away.
is what?
1978. I was born to a couple that had been married a couple years. And we met, oh boy.
We originally laid eyes on each other 2002, maybe?
I think it's one.
2001.
Yeah, one. We had
In the Vaught Hemingway
Ole Miss
football
was
stadium.
playing Middle Tennessee State University, both alma maters respectively.
Yep.
I had gone to see, my sister had called me and said, hey, I'm going to go, because we grew up in Mississippi, as I've talked about numerous times, and as did Annie. And so we had moved to Knoxville, and I was finishing MTSU at the time. So I had been out of Mississippi for a hot minute. Annie was just beginning her reign at Ole Miss. And Beth, my sister.
So you're a senior at MTSU?
I think I graduated.
He was,
You graduated.
No, you hadn't graduated.
I was a senior.
However, you were not a senior.
I was okay. That's
were,
judgy. Do you hear that? Just because she's a doctor of pharmacy, you're going to hear a lot of the shame on the
He was a
podcast, by
fifth
the
year.
way.
He was.
I was what we call the victory lap. Just one last time to
Hey,
wave.
Amy did it.
Say goodbye to
If Amy
people.
hadn't done it, I wouldn't have Amy.
See, thank you.
Same with you.
Same with me.
Yeah.
And
You
so
should celebrate it.
Beth had called and just said, "Hey, I'm going to visit some friends from." She had worked at Camp DeSoto, which is a camp in all girls camp in Alabama. Some of her friends, not just from growing up, but also from the camp, were at Ole Miss, and she said, "Hey, I'm driving from Knoxville to Oxford to see them. Do you want to come along?" And I was like, "Sounds great." So we that weekend went to randomly. It was homecoming for Ole Miss, and so they were hosting MTSU, the powerhouse, the Blue Raiders. And if you're being
Is that like a rivalry?
oh no. Okay, that would be like if me and Taylor
MTSU would
Swift
love
are
for it
having
to be
rivalry.
a rivalry. It's Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Is that the big rivalry?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyway, so we meet there, but it was very like that. I think we hung a couple times that weekend because of big, like our friends, big crowds were hanging, and we were there, but there wasn't any.
And that's just random. You don't have
Totally
mutual
Yeah,
friends.
totally random.
Okay.
And
Well,
then,
we did have mutual
Yeah, we
friends,
had
which is
we
why
had
we
a
ended
few.
up in
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
area of the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Beth was visiting friends that were my friends at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So we
So we
ended
kinda
up
talked in the
standing
stands
near
and-
each other.
yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, you're obviously dating Eli pretty heavily.
Had you been on dates with him yet?
Like well before that, yeah.
Before that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe that's why I was drawn to you.
Let's move on.
So anyway, meet there, no sparks. Fast forward to like a month later, we go to visit the Barnes family corporate goes to visit our family in Mississippi. We're in Jackson, Mississippi for the weekend for Thanksgiving. and there's just kind of not much to do. And I said, hey, you remember there's a really cool girl I met that I know lives in Jackson, and I don't even know why I had your number, but I just was like, maybe they're hanging out because her sister, Laura, who's is she and Brad the same age?
She's a year behind Brad.
A year younger than Brad. So my youngest
Brad
brother.
Is your brother.
Yeah. And so I just said, hey, you want to see if they want to hang? I mean, it was just literally like she was just really cool. Let's go hang.
But you had Annie's number.
Yeah.
No, I think you got it from
Oh, maybe that's true.
I don't know.
The internet. And so the internet was so small then. It was
so basically
safe.
Just numbers.
It was
it was kind of like the yellow pages.
It kind of was, honestly. So we hang, the four of us, me and Brad and Laura and Annie, and just had really fun. I remember we went to Barnes & Noble. It was just like killing time hanging out. I think maybe we went over to the Egg Bowl and watched some of it with Brian and some of your friends, Sorgan Fry and that crew.
What is the Egg Bowl?
I can't remember that.
It's when
really.
Ole Miss and Mississippi State play each other. Football.
Okay.
Every Thanksgiving break. Anyway, so again, nothing happens there. Well, then, buckle up, John, because here's where the real party starts.
Wait, can I pause you real quick? Like, is this mutually agreed upon? Nothing. Dave's like nothing. No sparks yet.
Yeah, I actually don't
Her
even
sparks
remember
may
that.
have continued to not happen past our wedding day. Just FYI. But we, so we kind of keep in touch, sort of, but not really. She comes to, this is, babe, 2 years later?
Yeah.
A couple years later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she comes, so no real interaction between them.
Yeah.
She comes to Nashville for a Vandy Ole Miss game. A lot of Ole Miss football interconnecting this year.
that.
If it weren't for Ole Miss.
I know.
Jeez.
I know.
We have our song
such
title.
a
We have our
special
country
place.
song title.
If it ain't for Ole Miss, it weren't going to happen.
I'd be missing you. Ole missing you. It's all there. You just got to work it out. She comes to Nashville with some friends. This is a true story. This is my version of the story. I'm in West End Community Church, which was meeting at what's the name
Bass
of it?
Middle
Bass
School.
Middle School. And, living my life, being me, I'm just being me.
Yeah.
And I walk into the foyer after the service, and the way that I remember this is the sunlight had come in through a window, and it was settling itself on this stunning young woman. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing her profile and going, oh, my gosh, who is that girl? And because I'm young, John.
Sure.
I am out.
So this is 2003-ish?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So
and the sun was
2003 sun in Nashville
Oh, my gosh.
specifically, gorgeous. Like some of the most
Forget about it.
direct, illuminating sun.
Uh-huh.
And so I see her, and I remember thinking, like, I don't know who that is. I've never seen her at church before. And she turns, in like a true sitcom moment, she turns and sees me, and like slow motion is like, Dave. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is Annie McGee. Mm-hmm. And she has all grown up. And so I walk over and
But at that time, would you have said, oh my gosh, that's Ann McGee?
Yes, I would have said that. That's before she converted.
You went by Ann.
Yeah, she hadn't converted yet.
You didn't have your doctorate yet. So
the IE doctorate. So anyway, I go over and if anybody knew me then, and Annie has total freedom to make fun of me, I was just like a little golden retriever puppy and retriever.
I like to think of it as your like juggling face, like you were just.
Yeah, that is such a great way. You may remember some of that, John, from knowing me back then. But it was a lot of energy. It was a lot of whatever.
Yeah, I remember it.
Joie de
We
vivre.
hung out yesterday. I remember it.
It hasn't flagged much. But anyway, so I do what I did then, and I'm just like Annie says it well. I was just kind of like, hey, oh my God, how are you? What are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm great. It's good to see you. But I am like smitten.
Full on.
Oh,
yeah.
It is like, so true story. I get in the car with Jake Owsley, all of our mutual friend who was in my wedding, and vice versa. And I told Jake, this is a true story. I said, I'm going to marry that girl. That's it. She's the one. And he was like, you are crazy. So anyway, I convinced her very begrudgingly to go meet us for lunch that day, because I was like, the more time I can get with this girl, the better. Mm-hmm. Well, she cut very much. I'm sure. We'll where y'all eating? Okay, we'll meet y'all there. And so I'm like in the car. Micah, all the guys were going over, and it's like, hey, look. She just doesn't really. She just pays zero attention to me the whole time. I'm doing my whole like, whoa, you get what's that over here? Look, I play some songs. You just listen to my music. I'm doing everything I can. wildly uninterested. She goes back to Oxford. I get her number. I call her once. And true story, the whole time we're on the phone, she's having another conversation with a sorority sister in the room while I'm on the phone. So, and I'm so driven that I don't care, and I'm still trying to. So what do you just? I don't know. I don't like that shirt. No, where y'all going to the library? Okay, and I'm like,
you're just sitting there on your trio.
Like,
hey,
face burning,
the battery on this trio will go for hours. I can feel its energy. I will
outlast you. You do not know.
What do you remember this phone call?
Vaguely, but not really.
Not really?
Yeah.
So you can't recall if this was like a calculated move on your
end?
end?
I do remember getting the next phone call. I didn't answer, and he left me a voicemail, and it was just that sort of energy and like I was just like, whoa, It was like, hey, what you doing?
Like doing some impression.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna come to the phone. And so anyway, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just
that's not happening.
Knowing like, well, shoot, this I really felt like this was a thing. So then Wirtz and Elliot Morris and Griffin House and I did a tour called the Someday Tour. And this is 6 months later. And I'm in North Carolina. The only tour I've ever done by myself, still to this day, was February of whatever that would have been, 2004. I was in my car alone driving through North Carolina for like a week doing shows. And I'd never forget this. It snowed, so travel was so slow on these interstates. And so I was
Is this the Roadmaster?
Roadmaster, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, General Woodensides. And so I'm literally going through my phone just calling people because I'm like so lonely and, bored driving and I'm in traffic. And so I remember Annie's name is in my phone. And I remember thinking, okay, call her. You can't be on the phone for more than 5 minutes and then hang up because you're just going to talk until, we know how the last call went. And plus I was doing the show with the Someday Tour, and that was kind of what I was doing, was call and say, hey, why don't you come out to the show? We're going to be in Memphis. You're in Oxford. Bring some friends. It'll be fun. So I call her, and I'm literally looking at my watch like, okay, well, good. Well, how you doing? Oh, it's good to hear. Okay. And she's like, hey, how are you? Very congenial. I said, well, hey, listen, the purpose of the call is like, I have this show. I'd love for y'all to come. And then I hang up, and I'm super proud of myself. I tell Brad Barnes, and Brad is like, oh, man, you invited Ann McGee. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, if I see her, I'm going to ask her out. And he's like, all right, that's like our pinky swear. Like you're going to do it. So that day comes up a couple months later. We pull into Memphis. I actually forget. This is a true story. And so I call her last minute, and I'm like, hey, shoot, it's tonight. I don't know if y'all can still come, but, like, it'd be great if y'all come. And so she
how far is Jackson, or are you in Oxford? Mm-hmm. How far is Oxford from Memphis?
It's like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
We have to pause. I'm sorry.
We're watching Lolly. Oh, gosh.
She's digging for treasure. Watch this chord, Dave.
This is the I believe the first time that Dave has ever stopped an interview.
Sorry.
And
our dog is
it's right on brand because Dave, if anything happens to this yard of Dave.
Yeah, it's just because of
she's just going to start again, so I'm going to do that again.
Their sweet, adorable dog Lolly was just digging for treasure.
And she's going to do it again.
Where were we?
You called right before the show again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had forgotten that it was happening, and then you're like, oh, it's tonight. Can you guys still come? You're an hour away. Mm-hmm. Had you forgotten?
Yeah, I think so. But also just for, like, memory's sake, I think. For me, that show was more of, like, Dave was the second the grass gets involved.
John,
Dave,
I want to talk about this.
I'll talk with you.
I want to talk about this.
It's depending on what you want to talk about. I will talk to you.
I really like how you got out of that. That was good. Does the craziness of everyday life have you stressed?
Yes.
And shedding?
Yes.
Okay. Since having kids, have you started seeing a little more of your scalp?
More than I would like to see, Dave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You can't answer this one, but I'm going to ask it. Has menopause impacted your hormones and your hairline?
Everybody want to say yes. I still want to say yes. I want to say yes to all those. And listen, I know when it comes to thinning hair, there are many root causes. There we go, at play. And Dave, Nutrafol addresses all of them through the multi-targeted whole body approach.
John, if there was only some type of online quiz I could take to get a personalized hair health plan.
David
That's
Barnes,
what I want.
today is your lucky day because guess what? There is such an online quiz.
my
With
gracious.
Nutrafol's hair wellness quiz, you can get your personalized hair health plan today.
Oh, wow. Then it's settled. It's this easy, John. I'm going to take my hair wellness quiz right now.
All right, well, we're kind of in the middle.
Okay.
All right, you're going to do it right now.
Definitely not an afro.
All right. You know what? That's great because Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding.
I'm done. I just took Nutrafol's 3-minute quiz. I'm super fast.
perfect
So it took me-
timing.
it was really quick for me
Yeah.
to determine which underlying root causes, pun intended, are keeping me from reaching my full hair potential.
I'd already made that joke, so
Okay,
it's kind of bad taste to do it again. By analyzing your lifestyle, biology, hair history, as well as environmental triggers, Nutrafol creates a hair health plan that is tailored to your hair's needs.
Start your hair growth journey today by taking Nutrafol's hair wellness quiz and get your personalized hair health plan today. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping at Nutrafol.com/quiz when you enter the promo code Dadville.
Take the quiz and get started on reaching your hair wellness goals with Nutrafol today. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com/quiz. Promo code Dadville.
That's Nutrafol.com/quiz, promo code Dadville. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's John and Dave. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's John
Answer the
and
door.
Dave. Knock, knock. Who is there? It's John
Why are they
and
ringing the
Dave, and you better
doorbell?
answer this. It's
We've
John
got a
and
doorbell
Dave.
for a reason.
John, you have 2 choices.
Okay,
The first is you eat better every day, but it's really difficult.
go on.
That's choice 1. 2, the second is you eat better every day, but it's really easy.
Man, that's tough.
This is already taking too long.
That
You
is
should have
tough.
just
Okay,
answered.
sorry. Well, okay, I would prefer the second one where
Yep.
you eat better every day and it's really
that's right.
easy.
That's the right answer.
In fact, I'd like for it to take the form of delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Can I add that to the
Honey
scenario?
Mac, you are going to love Factor. Are you ready for
Factor.
pre-prepared,
Yes.
chef-crafted,
Yes.
and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door? John, let's tell them quickly what's not going to happen. Where are they not
They're
delivering?
not going to leave it on the corner.
Nope.
Unless you live right on the corner.
Yeah, then they're going to deliver.
Then they'll-
They're not going to find a street child. We have those everywhere in 12 South. And just
Street
give it to the street child as they disappear into a back alley somewhere.
No, it's not going to happen. And listen,
Yeah.
you said dietitian approved.
Yeah.
Dave, you know this about me. I only eat food that's
That's why I
dietitian
said
approved.
it, John. Not only that, but you'll also have over 35 meals to choose from. You come to me and you say every week, Dave, I'll take 12. Give me a break. Give me a break. And it is 35, John, meals to choose from. And that's per week, including options like keto, calorie smart,
Yes.
vegan and
Yes.
veggie, and we call that the V&V, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options.
Dave, the only question that I'm left with is what am I waiting for? Okay, I'll answer my own question. Nothing.
Whoa.
Right?
Okay.
I'm ready for
I had
Factor's
answers.
2-minute meals. They're not 3 minutes. You don't have time for that. 2 minutes. So I can fuel up fast with restaurant quality meals, all delivered, again, Dave, straight to your door.
Knock, knock, who's there? Factor has everything you need for a week of flavorful, nutritious eats. In addition to ready-to-eat meals, they have cold-pressed juices. Let me tell you what they're not going to do, John.
Not going to be warm pressed. Not even warm.
Gosh,
No.
That was a huge fad in the 70s. Didn't work. Smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides, and more to eat to keep you energized. Eat, and they're going to keep you energized, John, during frantic times. I'm frantic right now because I'm just
so
pumped
frantic.
up. I'm so pumped up.
Dave, Factor is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, upscale options. You know I love upscale.
You're
Uptown
girl. I
girl.
was going to say.
Yeah. Get as much or as little as you need by choosing 6 to 18 meals per week,
gracious.
right? I do 18 for sure.
Yeah.
Plus, you can pause or reschedule your delivery anytime.
Head to factormeals.com/Dadville50 and use code Dadville50 to get 50% off.
No, that can't be right.
No, it is.
That's too good of a deal.
Yeah.
That's code Dadville50 at factormeals.com/Dadville50 to get 50% off. That's half if my math is correct.
It is. Go get it, guys.
I wish this were video so we could turn the camera so everyone could see Dave trying to harangue the dog.
I know. That's not going to work. Dave, why don't you just stand there so you can keep going? I didn't want her to potty inside. Well, then go put her inside.
Well, she won't let me get her. Dogs.
You want me to, she'll listen to me. I feel like you're not going to be able to.
Oh, I'm here. I'm back.
Are you back?
Yeah, the basketball has saved me because she's just going to keep digging in the same hole.
She's like, now what do I do? That my one spot to dig has been blocked.
I feel like I need to just put her up.
Yeah,
otherwise
it's when she brought her out, I was like, she's either going to dig in the yard or she's going to scratch the door into oblivion.
She has so much energy.
Well, it's so funny because she really is an extrovert. Like the Barnes, we're pretty much collectively extroverted. So
yeah,
the energy fits.
Yeah,
it's just.
I'm talking about Lolly.
Oh no, yeah, she is extroverted. She's a sweet dog.
So dumb.
Set him up and knock him down.
So dumb. How do you feel like it's going so far?
I'm super attracted to her. I don't know if it's mutual.
You need to get a grip because once we're done with the interview, you guys can do whatever you want to do. But
how do you think it's going?
I can't remember a single thing that's happened so far.
Oh yeah, me neither. Have we started?
We started the podcast like years ago.
Oh,
that's the thing. I can't go back.
Oh, so this isn't the first episode.
No, I mean, in a way, it kind of is. It might be the last. There we go.
Proud of you, babe.
The breeze is nice, though.
It is nice.
Just agree on that.
Watch this. So we do this. Well, we're pulling in. Call Annie. Annie's like, "Oh, I don't know. I got to it's kind of late notice. Let me see if I can get some friends, and maybe we'll be there." Cut to the show. We're doing the show. There's -5 people there in a 1,000-person room. Nobody's there.
Yeah.
But we're powering through. We're big boys. And sure enough, I think the last song, next to last song, because it's kind of a round with the four of us. The back door opens, and here comes Annie and two of her friends, sister and.
I think there were 4 of us.
Was there 4? Okay. And they all come in, and so all of a sudden I'm like reanimated like Michael J. Fox on Back to the Future. Yeah. Everything, I've got my fingers back and everything's happening. And so sure enough, in very true fashion for me, at the end of the show, I beeline to Annie. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, so thank you so much for coming. And I'm doing the whole thing, and I'm just.
So this is the first time that you have heard Dave play music then, yeah?
Well, I don't even know if she heard a song.
I don't know if I heard him
Oh,
play.
you didn't? Okay.
Which really worked to my advantage, because who knows how that had gone at that point. But I'm trying to figure out a way to ask her out because it's her sister, and 2 of their friends. I thought it was just Mary Lindley and Laura. Anyway, I can't get her. I can't pick her out of the pack. I can't sort of like corral her out to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And so I'm not kidding. I mean this. By God's grace, Griffin just does the job. He just kind of walks into the thing, and he starts talking to the other 2, and I sort of grab Annie and go, hey, like, I don't know.
Way to go, Griffin House.
I sort of owe him my marriage.
And he didn't have a shirt on.
He had his shirt off. That is a true story. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He had taken his shirt off, yeah. And he's a good-looking guy, so the fact that I was still in play.
Maybe he wasn't trying to help you.
Yeah.
He was just.
He's like, oh, yeah, sorry. Did she say yes? Because I was going to ask her out.
I always take my shirt off and dive into a pack of girls. I'm on tour.
Oh, my gosh. Dive into a pack of girls. Dive into a pack of girls. And so in literally a minute, I just go, hey, like, are you seeing anybody? And she is like, no. And I said, I would love to take you out on a date. And she goes, well, I'm moving to Jackson. And so, I mean, she couldn't have been more, it was bordering on disgust. It was like,
I love how direct that is.
Well, I knew.
The phrase, are you seeing anybody? That is like if you say that, then it's like.
It's the amouche.
There's no going back.
It's the amouche bouche to the next comment, which is,
But it's like the next comment almost doesn't even need to be said.
You've already asked.
You have said
asking.
everything by asking that.
But the minute I asked that, her whole vibe changes because she's like, no. And I was like, well, listen, and she said, I'm about to move back to Jackson to live with my parents, finish pharmacy school. And I was like, I'll drive to Jackson. And literally she goes, okay. And I was like, done, sealed.
What are you feeling
like,
in this moment?
I was like thinking, this guy's crazy. And also, no.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to just say no.
Yeah.
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 And it's funny, that question, are you dating anybody, is like our current modern day question of like, do you guys have plans Friday night? And it's like, you don't want to say yes or no before you know what the offer is, Yeah. But if you say no, I don't have plans, and then they say, we're having this party, then you're like, shoot, I said no, I have to go.
Yeah.
Well, oh, sorry. When you said plans.
Yeah. We didn't have kids at the time to deflect and give us reasons to not have to do something.
Yeah.
And so anyway, sort of pull this whole thing together. So I get in the van. I'll never forget this. And I was flying. I was like, I told the guys, we're celebrating me, Elliot, Griffin and Wirtz. We're like hoo-ha on our way to I'll never forget. We stayed in this random cabin somebody had in Memphis. I just remember it being like, who cares? You know as well as I do. Like that age is like, they could be like, you're sleeping in a hammock in somebody's backyard. And I was like,
anyway,
great.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
And so I just remember getting there and literally like just so excited. Like, oh my gosh, I called Brad. I was like, she said yes. Like, oh man, that's amazing. So, and then the funniest thing is,
she said yes. Well, she didn't say no.
She didn't.
Well, she did actually say no.
It doesn't matter what she technically said, but I could feel the energy in the room.
Down with the reality of what happened.
So the last couple things, when she was leaving, I gave, in an effort to help anyway, I gave her Brother Bring the Sun.
All of us.
I gave
you were
each
like
of them.
shelling them all
yeah,
out.
I was just like, here's anything I can do. And Annie got in the car with her sister, who Laura gets. She and Griffin get half assists on this whole marriage, but she kind of lamented to them, like, guys, you won't believe this. Like, Dave just asked me out. Like, kind of like, ugh.
And they're all like, yeah, we can believe that. We're not shocked here.
Yeah. He was licking your hand the whole time you were talking. But like, but Laura thankfully says like, Annie, I think you should maybe
She's like, I like him.
Yeah. To
Way
which
to go,
Annie's like,
Laura.
well. And then thankfully, Annie later confessed to me after we had been dating. She was like, that record was actually good for me to hear because I thought you were just this like, this coked up sort of like Robin Williams Jr.
Yeah.
So then when I called her a couple weeks later to kind of figure out the date, the tone had drastically changed. Like I'll never forget, I was in Houston playing this thing for Bob Swan. Shout out Bob Schwan. He sometimes when he's dancing. And so I remember being in the hotel room, and again, it was like North Carolina. I remember being like, okay, you're not going to talk for long. This is logistics. But she, like, I'll never forget, I called, and she's like, hey. And I was like, looking at my phone, like,
wait, did I call Mom?
I literally... And so she was just so different. Like, it was like she was so conversational and kind of interested. And so it was like, oh, something has changed here. And so we did our first date, and the day she graduated Ole Miss. And it was so much fun. But just, again, she was very, like, poking the bear, kind of like, what is your deal? But there was enough interest there. And then I was way up for whatever that looked like. And then that kind of set the whole thing in motion. Although I will say one of the interesting things about that date, we did like a marathon date because I had a show with Wirtz the next day somewhere in Tennessee, and she was driving back to Jackson to start pharmacy school. And, we had this really fun date. It lasted like 8 hours, because I dropped her off with her friends at like midnight that night, and she had graduated kind of early afternoon. And so we just hung out that whole day.
So you came down to
Ole Miss.
Oxford.
Yeah.
You went to the graduation.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh, you didn't
It was
go?
after.
Okay.
And the thing that was crazy about it is I hadn't seen her, I'd only seen her 5 times at this point. And so we met at Square Books. I'll never forget this. And I remember I went to the wrong Square Books. There's a children's one. So I'm like, this is a weird place to meet somebody. And the guy and the woman kind of like, oh, you looking for a book? And I was like, yeah, just perusing. Like, it's just me and this woman. And I'm like, God, what kind of perv do I look like?
For a girl.
Yeah, like, you got any girls? Excuse me, sir? And so then I walk over to Square Books, and I remember thinking, like, I know, because, again, like, there's social media. Like, I remembered what she looked like, but I was like, I hope I was right on this because I've only seen this woman 4 times.
Isn't that crazy? Like, you can't even imagine. I'm thinking of like my, 16-year-old niece. She can't even imagine what this is like in this moment right now. Yeah. Like, you can't just pull up your phone and in 2 seconds have 1,000 pictures of this person.
And so genuinely, I remember being nervous because, like, one, I know I'm going to recognize her, but genuinely was like, that was a real. And then the other thing was like, what if she walks in and I'm not as attracted as I thought? And she walked in, and I was like, nope, that's her. I definitely feel like I used to. And so we had a really fun day. But the next morning, last point is we were, we met for breakfast the next morning because we knew it was probably going to be a minute before we saw each other. And so driving away, I was driving back to whatever that show was. Annie was driving to Jackson. I called her to say, hey, thank you so much. Like, I know that was a big ask, and like you had your family in town, and they kind of left early so that we could go on this date. Like, it just means a lot. I know graduate is just a lot. It means a lot to me. And she was like, she just basically said, like, I just don't know about this, Dave. Like, it just feels like this is a lot. Like, you're going to be in Nashville. I'm in Jackson. I've got pharmacy school. And reasons only God will know, by God's grace in that moment, the thing that I said was, Annie, I just think if it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. And so if you will let me pursue you, I'm going to keep doing that. And she was kind of like, oh, okay. It was like, I just let out the longest breath ever because I was like, I knew this was like, this is the moment. Like, you either go like, I hear you. And, let's just connect in the future and see, whatever you say then. Or just like, it was fun. Let me take you out. God bless.
Right.
But I think I just knew, like, this just feels so substantial. And I think in that moment, it was like, that was the shot. That was shooting the shot. And she was like, okay. And I just remember being like, oh, my God. Like, hung up the phone.
Did you, Annie, feel like there was just too much pressure on it? And also, it's long distance. How far is that? I'm bad with geography. I don't know
Nashville
how far.
to Jackson's 6 hours.
Oh, so that's substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I just, like, at that point was like, yeah, this guy's fun. I mean, but also
really hot.
This doesn't, or it doesn't really make sense, and I just don't feel like
it just doesn't make
out.
sense on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the moment? When was it like, okay, it's happening, we're together?
I don't know.
It has that happened yet?
And now, let's just leave it open to, do you feel that yet?
Could we make it happen right now? Because I feel like on paper it should.
I mean, it just like grew over time. And I think the long distance, while it's hard to not see somebody, it was just so nice to have like communication be our foundation.
Yeah.
Where we talked a lot.
A lot. Yeah, a lot of. And I mean, John, that's like back when you and I and Wirtz and everybody, like, I was on the road a good bit. And so I would have long stretches in the car where we would talk for 4 hours, because she was like, she had time. And
so that is the complete opposite of Amy and I, because yes, I was on the road a ton and I hated it. I was so bad at talking on the phone.
Oh yeah.
Like, I would, part of it was I was in the van with the guys.
Yeah.
And so
you
can't even,
it's totally different.
they have to listen. If they don't have headphones on, and I need to also be hearing the music coming out of the headphones to make sure they're actually, you can't not listen to someone's phone call. And then, so I'm just self-conscious of that. And Amy can hear that I'm self-conscious.
I'll never forget, I did a tour with Pete Schmidt. Shout out to Pete. And I talked, I mean, we still, when I see him, we laugh about this. I would talk for hours in the car with just he and I to Annie on the phone.
Yeah.
And he would just giggle. He'd drive and just no headphones in, just
that
listen.
is such a difference between the two of y'all, though. John is like so hyper aware of like anybody and like, bothering anybody or whatever. And you're like, peace, guys. I'm doing my thing.
This is the thing that I want, and it will come at the cost of other people.
We should have had Pete here for this interview. He could be like, no, because hang on, because in April of 2004.
He would have as much intel as I do.
Yeah.
Now, you guys had a big fight. I don't know if you remember that. And then
you remember that?
I
was terrified.
Yeah. I really, there was a lot of that. And then I think just that it helped both of us because you got to ease into the relationship.
Right.
It wasn't like trial by fire where you're just kind of like, so, Yeah,
I think that's a good point. Like, you're forced to have these conversations.
Yeah.
These long conversations.
We knew. I mean, that was what was so fun is because we tried to see each other about every 2 or 3 weekends, and being together was just so easy and light.
Yeah.
Because we had talked so much, so there wasn't this like we got to really get to know each other and how we think.
Yeah,
and
like
feel.
we have 4 hours.
No, we
to
were
be together.
we were like,
yeah.
It was just like hanging and eating and
Yeah. By the time we got married, we had never been in the same city for more than 5 days.
Wow.
Ever.
Yeah.
At a time.
So that 6th day
was our wedding.
rough.
Was the wedding?
We
day.
knew how the first 5 days of our marriage was going to get.
Yeah. That was well rehearsed.
Just take it 5 days at a time.
Yeah, we still feel that way.
Yeah.
That's kind of a mantra.
So
that's why the weekends are so tricky.
So what would you say is, this is a question for both of you, what would you say was the initial thing that you were attracted to in the very beginning?
That's a great question.
And then what would you say is the thing that you're most attracted to now?
John, look at these questions.
This is Amy McLaughlin.
This is her question.
The thing that I was attracted to, I think, was Dave's like depth, and like that was what sort of changed my mind about him initially. Was like I thought he was just this like clown, but
Right.
then once I like got a sort of a glimpse into his music and his like depth of thoughtfulness, and that was what was my initial attraction. And I think it's definitely like changed over time, but that's still the thing that attracts me the most to Dave is like his thoughts, his perspective on life and people, and like I feel like we connect in so many ways on like the way we understand the world, and I just really appreciate that about you.
I just wanna live in a world where Johnny lives.
Well, guess what? That's this world. Hey, Dave.
Good. Yeah, hey, what's up?
Hey, what's the difference between the King James Version and the New King James Version of the Bible?
Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but it's probably like Yankee Stadium and New Yankee Stadium.
Or like Star Trek and Star Trek Next Generation.
Exactly. Listen, John, both are great, but Babe Ruth only played one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, Babe Ruth was in Star Trek?
Yeah. So fun fact, I should say unknown fact, which makes it a fun known fact. He was actually an extra in the second episode.
No way.
I just made that up. One thing the King James and the New King James Version have in common, John, is the Teen Study Bible features both of them, along with the NIV too. They're not leaving him out, even though he's not related. The Teen Study Bible is a classic, and it sold over 4 million copies.
I love the Teen Study Bible because it helps teens discover how God's truths relate to their lives today, and it helps them apply God's word to issues that they face, like bullying, depression, peer pressure, and stress.
It features notes, articles, book intros, character profiles, Q&As, and more, offering the knowledge, strength, and clarity to navigate life's challenges with Scripture as your guide.
Find out more about the Teen Study Bible and order your copy today at Amazon.com/Teen Study Bible.
John?
Hey, Dave.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Golly.
I'm coming in really
I didn't
hot
even know you
here.
could fit in my suitcase. That's amazing.
Well, I barely can, and this is kind of on topic here. Listen,
okay.
As I get older, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about everything I'm eating, like whether it's healthy.
Yeah. No, John, I don't want to go there.
Okay.
I feel like you're pretty healthy. You're overthinking this. But I do understand if that's just all that holiday candy talking to you.
No.
No,
I don't want to. Don't shame me with that stuff.
Okay,
I'm living in the present,
Okay.
not the past. I need to be smarter about it. And I just wish that there was some place that carried like only high quality ingredients, only good sourced methods.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I need them to even restrict hundreds of ingredients across their food and cleaning categories.
Whoa.
Like I want them to go all out to make sure I'm healthy.
John,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, knock.
Who's there?
Thrive Market. Okay? Not only does Thrive Market do all that, it also lets you filter results based on your lifestyle needs. Whether you're looking for organic kid snacks,
Yes.
low sugar foods, or gluten-free essentials, Thrive Market makes it happen.
Dave, that sounds amazing. But it also sounds pricey.
Oh, John, it's awesome, but it's not pricey.
What?
Okay? In fact, as
Tell
a
me more.
Thrive Market member, I save money on every single grocery order, an average of 30% each time. They also have a deals page that changes daily. In fact, today I saved 30% on Annie's organic bunny fruit snacks, and that's not my Annie.
That's right.
Or
She
we would
could
be
make
living
them,
in
though,
a
maybe.
very different house. And Julie's organic date snack packs.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. It says that, it says here that when I join Thrive Market, I'm also helping a family in need with their 1-for-1 membership
That's
matching
awesome.
program.
Love that.
I join, they give. Is that right?
Yeah, so join in on the savings with Thrive Market today and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift.
Amazing.
Go to thrivemarket.com/Dadville for 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift.
I am signing up right now. I'm going to thrivemarket.com. That's THRIVE market.com/Dadville. thrivemarket.com/Dadville.
That's going to be my ringtone, by the way. I think for me, I was so drawn to Annie's confidence. Like, I just loved how she was just like, this is who I am, and this is how I feel. And that was like a magnet to me because I was like, man, to be with someone that could be that sort of like rooted was really, really attractive. And still is. And I think it's funny. Like, I still feel that way. I still feel like I just love that I'm married to someone who I kind of don't have to take care of. I know that sounds terrible, but there's not this feeling of like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? Are we okay? You know, like she's so steady. And so like, I know where she is all the time. You know, like this is who she is. This is where she is. And I think for me, that's still something that's so affirming and attractive, you know. And like she said, I think we've just been really blessed because we really do feel the same about a lot of things, which really helps, you know. Like our read on a lot of life is pretty similar. And so I think, and you know, it doesn't have to be the same all the way across the board, but I think the things that are really important, it's crazy similar. And so that's a real sense of refuge for me, is feeling like I can come home and be like, this thing happened and I feel this way about it. And she's like, oh yeah, I totally get that. And I'm like, okay, good. You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, so you guys are still similar in a lot of ways.
And married.
When you got married. And you're still married. Just, I want to be clear for the listener. So answer for each other. What do you feel like is one of the starkest differences for like Annie for Dave and Dave for Annie?
The biggest
Today
changes.
between now and then.
I mean, Dave has changed a lot, I think. You're much more like grounded. You're not as flighty, and I think that like the biggest sort of change that I appreciate the most is how helpful he is now. When he wasn't that helpful. Like, I really feel like we're a team, but I didn't feel that way a lot at the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah.
And I feel that way now.
I don't know that you would have met someone who was kinder and more, you know, wasn't a whatever, but I was so in my own world and not very thoughtful. And I think Annie has like really shown me how to do that. I mean, it's one of the things I think that she's probably taught me the most about. Just like, hey, there are other people in the room. You know, I'm like, oh yeah.
And you're like, I know, I'm entertaining. I'm crushing.
Look at this. Yeah, I think with Annie, again, one of the things that I've always been so attracted to her is her sense of can do anythingness. You know, just her competency is so through the roof, and commitment to whatever that thing is. And so I think with that comes a lot of strength. Like, Annie's just always been really strong. Like, she's just a tough chick. And I think the way that she's changed in our marriage, probably the most to me, there's a lot of ways, but I think one of them is that it's not that she's not strong anymore, but I think that kids especially, just for Annie especially, it's like it just kind of like it warmed her heart so much to just life, where I think if you'd known her before, it's not that she was still just as thoughtful and compassionate, but there were just some accesses that were pretty closed off. Not to me, but I'd say probably more to anybody else. And so I think with kids, she's just really warmed. It's just like I just feel like you're so much more emotional. You're so much more like emotionally available, like things can really affect her now that I think for a long time you would just sort of power through,
Yeah. Like tenderness.
Yeah, that's it. So much more tender.
Mm-hmm.
And heartfelt, like very like, not afraid to be sad or cry or whatever that thing is. Where I think for a long time it was like, there was like a power through mentality.
Yeah,
it was,
right. Yeah. So what's the one quality that you would steal from each other? If you could steal one quality from Dave, Annie, what would you steal?
I mean, this is the easiest question because Xana has it. Xana has Dave's joy and like love for life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that is just such a gift to people. And I don't have that same joy and like, I don't know, just like effusive, happiness or like, I don't know I don't know how, you know what I'm talking about, John,
Mm-hmm.
but just your ability to put a smile on people's face is a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really sweet. I think Annie she's just like so committed to completing anything she starts. Like I tell her this all the time, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse with you, babe, but she just doesn't have a pain threshold. Like it's like if she has said she's going to do it, she's going to do it. She is going to do it. And I think like she's just that's some of what her power with compassion and thoughtfulness come together in is like, she's just like, that person means a lot to me. And so I will wildly, I will put myself in lots of inconvenience to make them feel good. And that is just, it's incredible to watch because it's like, she just blesses so many people by how much she cares for them and thinks of them. And, I see the other side of it, of how much it inconveniences her and how much it puts her out or how hard something is or whatever that is, where they get to see just the culmination of that thoughtfulness. And it's really taught me so much about how, again, what that agape love thing is, where it's like love is about the other person, the end. It's about caring and loving people. And she's just so good at that. It's like really astounding. Mm-hmm. And inspiring and like super intimidating.
Yeah.
Because it's like, whoo.
Okay, so you guys have kids. You have 3 kids. This is a ridiculous question, but how do
we
you
know
feel like
their names?
I know Andy
Where
knows
they
their names. This is more for Dave.
If you did birthdays right now, I think I could get them right, but it'd take me a half
I
second.
saw a reel on Instagram the other day where a guy was like on the street with a mic stopping families and asking the dads, like, can you name all 3 of your kids' teachers?
Oh, don't.
And it's
like that is
You couldn't do that in it.
last year.
I think I could. One of them said a teacher like so confidently, and his daughter was like, "That was my 4th grade teacher."
Listen. I have to out myself. What?
Dave knows the teachers' names. He just doesn't know that there are kids' teachers.
Yeah, they are. Last year. Annie, I can't stop laughing. Annie gave me something, and she's like, "I need you to run this to the school." This is exactly what she said. I need you to run this to the school and take it to Xana's teacher. And I said, okay.
I don't know this story.
And I got to the school, and I walked in. I walk in the classroom. It's a lunch break. I walk in the classroom, and I walk up to this teacher, and I said, hey. I said, this is for Xana. And she goes, oh, okay. Do you mean to take it to her teacher? And we both started laughing. So she's like, I was saying his teacher last year.
You were only 1 year off. That's not
I
bad.
started laughing so hard, and it was like I just felt so loved because she started laughing too. But it was oh my God, I was like crying walking out of school. I was like, this is just such a dad moment, you know? Like,
Hey, you went to the right school.
Oh gosh, because I knew the minute I walked in the room, I was like, something's not right. Because she was like, hey. And I was like, hey.
You're like, that tone.
That's not the tone of, I have your daughter in class. That's the tone of, I had your daughter.
Yeah.
So, do you think I have her in class?
So how have kids impacted your marriage? If you can give an answer to that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, for me, this sounds so trite, but it's like, it just gives it so much purpose. You know what I mean? It's like, I remember Annie and I early on in our marriage. I'll never forget this. We were sitting watching, I think it was Downton Abbey, and this was before we had kids. And I remember feeling this weird feeling of like, is this it? Is this life now? It's just like this is kind of what existence is for the next 60 years, and then we die. And I think kids for me have just given us this wonderful other thing. You get to serve and love and all those kind of things. And so it just feels like there's a little more point on it. You're just kind of like, oh, this is where we're going with this whole thing. Like even if that's soccer games or basketball games or school plays or, going to chapel this morning and sitting and watching Sam celebrate his half birthday. It's like, it's just all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, here's where the energy goes,
Yeah.
And I think I'm really thankful for that. I know that that's not something everybody can say, and I really know that journey is so tough. But I'm really thankful that God has seen, for us to have these three, because it just feels like, oh yeah, it just feels like, oh, this is where everything should be and how we should spend our time. And it's not like I always loved taking kids to soccer practice at Tuesday at 7 p.m., but it's like, I don't know what else I'd be doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's really, having kids at the beginning was so hard for us because there was just such a big learning curve on how do we become a team.
Yeah.
Like, we had lived 6 years as a married couple before we had kids, and so we really had done well the, independence thing. Like, we each have our own sort of lives, and we can come together, but also, we are really... Dave was on the road a lot in those years, and so I kind of had great friends that I'd created that weren't Dave's friends. And so anyway, having kids, the learning curve for us was really steep on we need each other, and I need you for the first time, really, probably in our marriage. And once we sort of got over those mountains, I feel like we've really learned how to work together, and it's just brought so much life and joy.
I think two things, and one of the reasons I think Annie and I were so attracted to each other is kind of what bites you in the rear for a lot of marriages, right? It's like that initial thing suddenly can turn on you a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons that we really fell for each other is we're both very strong, independent people.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that in each other, and we went, that energy, I know that energy, and I love that energy. The problem with that is you chuck a kid into that energy, and it gets really tricky because it's not, you don't kind of have the really sweet, because all you need is one of those in a couple. It's like somebody who's kind of like, oh, I'll, no. And then the other one kind of keeps to do their thing, whatever their thing is. And I think for both of us, it was just a real, it just rocked our world, because suddenly, like, these two people who were used to being able to do what they wanted to do and had big visions and loved to travel and, we're used to just being untethered. Suddenly we're like absolutely tethered. And I laughed with a friend of ours the other day because he was just, grieving with me like, man, this, kids is so tough. And I think they just had they were on their third. And I said, you're going to hit a season in your life, if you're anything like me, because right now you're still fighting to keep your thing. You're kind of like, no, if I just power through, I can still do my thing, still have these kids in this marriage. And I was like, but it will break you. You're going to, and I don't know if I said, I felt like that when Ben our oldest got to be about 6 or 7, and he started really to do things where it was like, oh, I can't do, I have to help now. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but it really felt like Annie needs my help in ways that are new. And then it was like that dream sort of died in a way. I mean, I'm being facetious, but like the sort of like independent, like I'm still, if I just push hard enough, I can still achieve all the thing. And it was, and then not only did that die, but then I realized like, oh, I'm so much happier doing the other thing. I'd rather take the kids somewhere, help Annie. Like I get so much more from that than whatever it is over here. I was really fighting to keep and try to keep whatever that thing was. But I do think there's a moment where for me, it was like, okay, this just isn't working anymore. Like this, me trying to kind of live two lives. And I think in that moment, that's where kids really get to be profoundly, whatever that word would be, where it's like, I can't keep doing this thing. I really have to give myself to being a parent and a helper and a spouse and to Annie's point. But I think I fought that for a while because I was like, oh, I'm still a singer-songwriter and I'm an artist and I got to do,
I've got my intramural soccer.
Yeah, gosh, and they are
I'd love to go to a movie tonight.
Sub in at 60 minutes and right before the end of the game.
If we're up by enough.
Sure. Or everybody's sick.
Okay. We're at the lightning round now. But I have quite a few here, so let's try to move through these. Okay.
I'm a slow processor, so lightning round makes me sweat.
Okay, well you can sweat because this is the lightning round. So we need fast.
Okay, I'm gonna.
This
try.
one's gonna be very easy.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. Which side of the bed are you guys on? Are you on your respective sides of the bed right now?
No. Yes. Well, it depends what perspective.
I'm on the. If you're looking at the bed, I'm on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your perspective, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm on the right.
Is that always the case? If you're on vacation, are you always on the left side?
I am happy sleeping anywhere.
Yeah.
Dave is very much a creature of habit, and if I don't even think about it. I'll just get in the bed, and he will often be like, "You have to get on the other side of the bed."
Yeah,
because you have to roll to the left to get out of bed.
Well, once we upgraded to king size, it sort of changed everything because queen, you're still kind of touching each other, and so there's a lot of maneuvering of where you lay in the bed and that kind of thing. So some of it's honestly just that I'm at the age where I pee every night, so I'm like I just want to be close to the bathroom, so I'm not having to
But you'll forfeit being close to the bathroom if it's the right side of the bed for you.
I don't know.
Oh, really?
If you watch, I don't actually. Oh, okay. Well, this guy knows everything. Who's awake and taking stock of things while you're sleeping? That's me.
Pretty soon you'll get to the age where you're still peeing, but you're not going to the bathroom.
Yeah, just
that's coming.
No.
How great is the king?
Oh,
it's been great.
You guys just upgraded, like within a year, right?
Oh yeah. 6 months.
Pretty recently.
Yeah, this summer.
I forget when Amy and I did, but
it's a game changer.
If you're those listening, if you're like, guys, this is ridiculous. A queen is plenty big. Yeah, it is. If you sleep on a queen, and you've never slept on a king,
but boy,
once you go to the king. I'm not even talking California king.
Annie's not a hype girl. Like anything that gets hyped, she goes the other way. So the king thing for her for years was like, it's who cares? Like
that's how I felt.
But we hadn't had that thing a week, and she was like, oh my gosh, I want this bed.
I'm also very cheap, and I didn't want to pay for like a mattress and a bed. And
she was like, let's grow our own cotton. We can make a bed. We have a cabin. We can do this.
Okay. It's the middle of the night. A kid starts crying. One of your kids.
I was going to say, I hope it's ours.
Who gets up?
Me.
Annie a lot. We've had seasons though where the kids have they've come to like right now they're coming to my side of the bed.
Well, that's not the question, Dave. That's not the question.
If you need somebody in the middle of the night,
see, there are things that we're learning together right now, John,
in real time. Yeah, that's a separate question. If the kids come into your room, whose side do they go?
I hope Dave's. Yeah, I've told them.
Yeah, of course, she tells them. So now,
see, this is an argument for switching sides.
Yeah,
change it up. You thought Mommy was over here.
What, honey? Dad,
I wish my kid. I mean, I don't want to get up in the middle of the night. I don't want to get up.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm not saying like I'm golden dad over here who like I'll pop up and help with whatever. Yeah. Amy will wake up if a feather from one of the pillows.
Yeah, I'm a light sleeper.
I am out.
Yeah,
which is more like you. Yeah.
No, but our kids will, immediately come to me. They never go to you first.
Yeah,
and I hate that.
Wait, so all the times they come to me, it's because you told them to come to me?
Yeah, but that's only because they've already come to me once.
She's been
and
up
I've
for an hour and a
said,
half.
Go to Dad.
Yeah.
Things I'm learning right now. I kind of felt good. I was like, oh, look, they're coming to me. Go to bed. Oh, they're
Yeah.
coming to me. You're fine.
So I used to sleep just in my underwear, and I overheard one of the girls say to Amy one time, like, I don't want to go to Dad because he's naked. And so now, for years, I have slept
In a suit.
full socks, sweatpants, shirt,
So they will come to you.
and they still never
They
come
don't.
to me.
Go the other
Now they're like,
direction.
it's too much clothing.
Go completely nude and see what happens. They may be drawn
I know.
to it.
I'm not actually naked. Anyway, okay. So you guys just knocked out 2 of the questions. This question is just for Annie. Annie, what is your favorite song of Dave's?
Oh, gosh. There's so many. I love
That wasn't a compliment.
one of
She's
my
just saying
favorite
there's so
songs
many.
from back
He's
in the
written a lot
day.
of songs.
This is an old one that I've always loved, Miles to Go.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
I don't know why. I just always have loved that song.
Okay,
I love.
and Annie,
I could
sing
keep
it right
going.
now.
And we have the instrumental track.
Yeah.
No, I could keep going. I love Until You. On a Night Like This is like one of the first ones I loved, probably.
Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of good ones.
And then all the new ones.
All the ones on the Candlelight album, the like Valentine's EP.
Oh, yeah.
I love those. I love the Stars Over London.
Oh, yeah.
That is a good one.
Thanks for bringing something new in there. I needed
Yeah.
that. She's like, you have a new record? That's great.
No, we know. We all know it.
Yeah.
Okay, you have 2 hours, just the 2 of you. What do you do? Kids are taken care of. You
Do I
got
have
2
to answer
hours.
or-
Is it in the daytime or the nighttime?
Daytime,
I feel
middle
like,
of the day.
I mean, we walk to go get coffee and.
She's probably want to get amorous, and I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to be like,
Right.
that's not the mood I'm in.
Sure.
I want to go walk.
Uh-huh.
That's probably her answer.
Uh-huh.
No, I agree. I think we'd probably go like, it's like y'all. Y'all are so great about this. Like, go for a walk and go grab lunch or something until it's out their coffee or something.
Yeah.
Probably that.
Okay.
We do. I feel like most of our time is daytime time.
Yeah.
Like, because we have a lot of freedom in the
Yeah.
days.
Right. Okay, you have 2 hours. Each of you are alone with the kids for 2 hours. What do you do? And it can be you go do something, or it can be you do nothing and you're just home, whatever. Anything's on the table.
I mean, there's so many questions I have around this time. Like, how old are they? What have we been doing?
Current day.
Current day.
Yeah. They
If-
just finished up their Bible study, their morning devos. Kale salad bowls are in the
2
sink.
hours, we're home.
They're
2
Hebrew
hours,
lessons.
you're staying home.
I'm staying home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably say that, or some really focused Top Golf, something that's like we can go do, and I know it'll take the time.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a hot take. I think my biggest struggle as a parent is when I feel like I'm trapped with the kids in a way that I can't change the scenario. Meaning, like, one of them.
What would be this scenario you're describing?
like, I don't know. One of them has me in a corner and I can't get out. Kind of like, hey, will you do this with me? And it's like an hour activity. Listen, I will tell them in therapy, I'm sorry. It is such a struggle for me. So I think when I know I have time like that, I'm like, it helps me if I know we have something we're doing. Like, even if, like, Sam and I have been playing pickleball in our basement, which is really fun, or, even playing gotcha. Like, those kind of things are fun. It's when I feel like it's kind of like, we're doing this for 2 hours? It feels egregious. So that's why Top
But
Golf
don't you think, and I'm asking this because I'm with you on this. Whenever my kids are like, hey, can we go jump on the trampoline, or can we play this game or whatever? I always think, well, this is the next hour of my life.
Yeah.
But it's probably
It's not. No, you're right.
It's not.
The other thing that I do love about living where we both live is, let's walk
We
to
can
Jenny's.
walk.
Let's go get some coffee or white
I
bikes.
feel like our kids are just in a phase right now where they just don't agree on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, unless I'm like, let's go to Target and y'all can all buy a toy, which I never do that unless they have like Target gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they would all agree on. Every other thing, one
but
of
even
them
that,
wouldn't
you
want
have
to do.
to. I mean, if your kids are like mine,
You have to gear up for that.
you have to gear up for it, but you have to set a timer and be like, okay, in 10 minutes, you have to have decided on something. And that's the 10 minutes is going to go by and they're still going to be like, I can't decide, you know. So it's still going to be.
Mm-hmm. But at
Our
least they
girls-
all want to be there. I
It's
think
true.
the problem with us right now, because we have 2 boys of different sort of stages and a girl, it's like doing one thing, they're not all going to want to do
Right.
it.
Yeah, it's
so
tough.
I'm like, we'll just stay home and y'all can all figure out.
Yeah.
Hopefully Luca and Livy are home.
Yeah. Okay. You guys are doing great, by the way.
Thank
We
you
just
so
have a
much.
couple more. You have the kids are taken care of. They're with grandma and grandpa. You guys have 2 days, just the 2 of you. And let's say travel's not a thing. You can instantly be wherever. What do you do?
I know that one immediately.
We go to the beach.
No, if travel wasn't a thing, I'd go to London again.
Oh.
But I mean,
Yeah,
I
we
think
could
the
go to
thing,
London
the
for
thing
2
that
days.
the thing that Annie and I know we talked about this. I feel like every couple we've talked to, on the pod or not, it feels this way. I think the thing that's so tricky about having kids is you just get in this groove of things where it feels like this is my marriage, like this is how Annie and I relate now. And trips are so fun when it's just the 2 of us, because an hour into the trip, it's like, oh my gosh, I know you. Like, I love you. You're so great. And it's not like I don't feel that I'm not saying that that's not how I feel every day, but there's something about just that time away that you sort of settle back into those people that you're like, you remember when we used to do this kind of stuff and it was so fun? And we went to Chicago a few years ago and it was just like, I remember that was one of the first trips we got away from the kids. And I just remember thinking, like, walking around Chicago, and I was like, this is just so much fun. Gosh, this is fun.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember one of my favorite parts of that trip is we walked into Adidas shoe store, and I looked at my phone. I was like, babe, it's 5:30. We should probably get some food. And she's like, Dave, the kid. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we can eat whenever. Yeah, I'm already winding down. Winding down.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, anywhere.
New York.
Yeah,
We
New
were
York would
just
be
in
great.
New
Beach
York.
would be fun. Anything. It's-
Yeah, at this stage of life with kids, it's like just anywhere.
Yeah,
It's
anywhere.
Okay, what is one simple thing that each of you could do for each other? This is I'm making this question complicated. What is one simple thing the other one could do for you on any given day that is like a simple thing that means the most? Like, for example, I don't know if Amy were here, she'd be like, this is not my answer, but she loves it when I take the trash out, and I hate to take the trash out. And so I'm like, that's just one simple thing I can do every day.
The first thing I thought was clean the kitchen, clean the sink, get the and load the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher. Those kind of things.
So if you walk into the
always
kitchen and that is done, that means
I'm like,
a lot.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, you'll never see her more annoyed than if something, like, overnight that I'm, like, soaking, and she walks in the
Dave
next morning.
soaks everything.
That is,
He literally soaks everything.
you soak.
And
yeah.
I'm like, so then you get up the next morning and there's like cold water in the big
Annie is
thing that's
always
taking
like,
up the
"Don't
whole
soak,
thing.
just wash it. I'm like, it loosens the grime, and it's half the work
It loosens the dirt for you to wash in the morning.
when I'm gone. I think, at the risk of sounding cheesy, I'm such a big words of affirmation guy. So anytime Annie says anything slightly complimentary, it is like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say anything like
And
that.
I know if I haven't given him compliments because he'll be like, so did you notice that I, or what did you think of that thing that I did? Or he'll be like, how do I look in this shirt? I'm like, oh yeah, I need to tell you, you look good.
What'd you think of I didn't let things soak and I actually washed everything last night. Did you see that? Tell me that's great. Tell me you love me.
Tell
I'm
me you love
attractive.
All right, last question. If you wrote a book on marriage, what would it be called?
Man, that's good. We've asked this to couples.
You knew this was coming.
I know.
No, I didn't know it was coming. Maybe. Good luck. I'm cheering.
That's a
for
great
you.
title.
Did you hear that?
Good luck. I'm cheering.
What a great
I hope
title.
this works out for you.
Don't make a bad choice.
Yeah. Pick the right one. I think for me it'd be, probably something in the world of like really hard but really worth it, or like really hard but really good, just like something in that space. I think if it was parenting, it would be ask your mom.
That's a great question.
Wait,
Ask your
John,
mom.
what did you say on y'all's?
I said simple things.
Oh, that's sweet.
I'm a big believer in just like I said, those
The like coffees.
2 little things that you
Yeah.
can do for your spouse that mean a lot and are simple for you to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do those every day. That should be your baseline.
I'd say
And then
one
you
of
can go
one
from
of the
there.
things that's so to exactly your point that's so crazy about marriage is like I do so many things on a daily basis now that weren't even on my radar when we got married, and now like they're not in my skill set, they're not in my love languages, whatever you want to call it, and they are huge parts of it every day to me that help Annie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's funny just how that your life changes that way. It's just kind of like now I do these things naturally, know, and it's cool to see that you can really adapt knowing that your partner needs whatever those things are. They really help. And so it's cool to find that like, wow, I've really like, simple things. Like I just know if I do this, Annie really appreciate it and do that little thing. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I just kind of do these things now.
Yeah.
It's not I should,
Right. The transition is the tough part.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you guys are doing great.
Thanks.
Thanks for being married so that we can interview you.
Thank you for interviewing us about our
Go
marriage.
get some coffee, you lovebirds.
Go Blue Raiders.
Can you unlock this with your Apple Watch, Dave? There we go.
It's not letting you stop.
I guess we should keep going for a little bit.